Right, hi everyone, welcome to the Wannabe Gardener. So today I am a happy camper because I've got wood so I can make raised beds, yay! So I can start really kind of getting the projects done in the garden, clearing the areas I don't want that have plants in them at the moment, make room for the raised beds, put in all the vegetables. I know obviously it's very late in the year, but I'll still be able to grow some stuff. I might be able to transfer some plants to a raised bed which is more space for them to grow, because in those tiny containers it's just not going to work. Anyway, obviously this is a pallet, as you can see, so it needs to be taken apart. Now they can be very tricky at times. In this one, in fact, at the edges, only on two pieces of wood, there's like bolts for some reason. I've never seen it before, so they're gonna break, or I'll have to saw them or something like that, but I can use them to join the edges and stuff that you'll see as I go. So what I'm going to do now, first task, is to remove the lengths of wood. So what I've got is this claw hammer and a chisel. It has a hand guard there, which is very important actually, because the amount of times you can hit yourself with a hammer is quite often, actually, I know from experience. But I'm quite adept at doing it. Anyway, enough chit chat. Got to get on with it. I have started the first one. I said enough chit chat. I have started the first one, and actually it works really, really well. With the stubborn ones in the middle, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just try and bang them out with a hammer. Hey, voila! Right, some safety. That's so important. These have rusty nails in them, so put them aside, preferably on grass. I've just poked my finger with one of them, so put them aside in grass, face down, so the nails aren't sticking up. Also, what else? Yes, I should be wearing goggles at the moment, so I might go in and get a pair, but I'm just anxious to get going. Right, I'm firing on all cylinders, but what I am going to do is I am going to go inside and get the goggles. Not goggles, but eye protectors. Glasses, basically. One of the very important thing when you're getting a pallet, it's not like regular wood you'll buy in a store, like in a home base or whatever, you know what I mean, whatever one you B&Q, who knows, anything, any store that you might, wherever you are. It's not like that. Some of them might be treated with a chemical pesticide, and it will have on it, it will be stamped and it will say the initials MB. If it says that, don't use them, because they have chemicals in them to kill insects. So may not seem like a bad thing, but you don't want to be eating pesticide. You can let the chemicals leach out over a year, but obviously you can't use it from then. What you need to look for on the stamp of the pallet is HT, which is heat treated. So that's perfectly good to use. This one is heat treated, so hence the reason why I'm using it. Now time to go in and get the goggles. I'll get back to you when I make more progress. Right, as you can see, I've got my cool and trendy eye protector glasses on. One very important point, when you take each of these lengths of wood off, what I've just noticed is, well, I kind of forgot, I didn't know that they were there, but you've got rusty nails sticking up. Now, you can know that they're there, but trust me, when you're doing a project like this, or if you've never done it before, it is so easy for you to just sit, lean anything on it when you're levering one of them off. So immediately when you see them, knock them down, and it can prevent a whole lot of pain, you know. So right, I'll get back to you in a little bit. Right, for those beginning or first time doing it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you first of all the tool. I know I talked about it already, but this is called a floorboard chisel. Make sure you get one with a guard, yeah? And it does have a sharp edge, and that'll help you to get underneath those lengths of wood where the nails are, and then you lever up like so. Yeah, and a claw hammer obviously will help. A claw hammer to bang this in, but it doesn't necessarily need to be a claw hammer, but if you need to get up, but these work fine, absolutely fine. You don't even need the claw part of the hammer. But I'm going to show you one where I lever it so you can see how it comes up. Yep. Just going to make sure you can see me. Right. I'll get back to you when I'm done with those. Now, I've finished taking the lengths of wood out. As you can see on the four corners, these ones, very unusually, I hope, I've never seen it on a pallet before, but have bolts in them. I've tried to lever them, it's not going to work. I didn't think it would. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to cut along there and then use the rest of the lengths to join the other lengths of wood together, which you will see. Now I know I've said this before, but each time you take a length of wood off, make sure, remember, first thing to do, punch those nails, those rusty nails that are sticking up, punch them down, even if they're not rusty, doesn't matter. Push them down, because I've forgotten a couple of times now. So it is very, very important to do that, or else you're going to be in a serious world of pain. And if you have anybody else knocking about, then they might hurt themselves too. Right, what I've got is a small saw. Now a small saw is better actually for doing this. I thought I was going to get the big saw, but I went, actually, you know what, on the ground then, this isn't too long, so I'll be able to cut it through. So I should actually come from the side where you can see me doing it. So just going to cut along the edges there. Now, two things about sawing which are important if you haven't done it or you're not kind of familiar with sawing wood. I've done woodwork like years back, so you know, I learned the techniques when we did woodwork. When you're sawing, use your thumb as a guide, not like that, because you'll cut it off or cut it. Yeah, so your knuckle there, use that as a guide so it stops the blade from coming over and cutting your hand or cutting your finger. Very important. Number two, when you're cutting, yeah, start off by going along the edge like that to get yourself a start, and do it slowly and let the saw do the work. Don't try and slam it like this, because it's not a race, first of all, and the tool is designed to cut the wood. Yeah, you're not cutting the wood, the tool is, so you just let it do it, just normal pace. You shouldn't be in a fantastic sweat. It is very hot today, that's probably the reason why, but you shouldn't be breathless, or you shouldn't be sweating profusely after cutting a little bit of wood. Shouldn't happen. Let the saw do the work. Make sure you use your knuckle there as a guide, and that'll protect you. I'll get back to you when I do the other bits. Right, so I've cut the corners of those. I'll show you now. So what we've got to do next is lever the center bit out, as per I did last time with the floorboard chisel and the hammer. Those ones are trickier to do because they have longer nails in them, so just lever them from all sides. I'll do the other one. Right. Oh, that's what I'm left with now after removing all the cross pieces. So I've just got to now untighten the bolts. Surprisingly enough, why a pallet has bolts. Some of the nuts came off, but I've got to take the rest of them off and then take those bolts out and then continue. I'll do one of them. Somewhere safe to keep the nails and the bolts or whatever else comes out of your pallet. Always have an adjustable spanner. Doesn't matter what brand, really, honestly, unless you're a professional. Just something that'll do it, because it'll take off any bolt, so fantastic. Right, I'll get back when I've taken all those off.